Narcissists love to believe they're unforgettable in bed. They tell themselves their sexual power is unmatched, their touch addictive, their performance godlike. But beneath the confidence lies a fragile ego, desperate for validation. Sex, for them, isn't intimacy, it's theater. A stage where admiration replaces affection and control replaces connection. The truth is far more brutal. Their fantasy of sexual superiority hides deep emotional emptiness. The first lie they tell themselves is that they're irresistible. Narcissists genuinely believe everyone wants them, that their charm and confidence can melt any resistance. In reality, what others mistake for magnetism is often manipulation, a curated performance designed to provoke attraction. Their seduction is transactional. They read people's desires and mirror them back, creating the illusion of chemistry where none truly exists. This illusion gives them a false sense of power. Each conquest becomes evidence that they're special, desirable, and dominant. But the high fades quickly, leaving behind the same void they've always tried to fill. Narcissists crave new validation because old admiration evaporates fast. The tragedy is they confuse attention with love and arousal with intimacy. Two currencies that look alike but spend very differently. The second lie is that their partners are lucky to have them. Narcissists imagine they're the ultimate prize, the fantasy lover others dream about. They measure their worth by how many people they can charm or how passionately their partners respond. Yet this belief blinds them to reality. Their partners often feel unseen, objectified, or emotionally starved. The narcissist's self-admiration leaves no room for genuine connection. To maintain this illusion, they rewrite history. If a partner withdraws, they label them cold or ungrateful. If someone leaves, they call them crazy. Admitting that intimacy failed because of their emotional neglect would destroy their fragile self-image. So they protect the lie at all costs, turning every failed relationship into another story of how they were misunderstood geniuses of love. The third lie is that sex equals control. For narcissists, sexual connection isn't about mutual pleasure, it's about dominance. They use seduction as a weapon to gain emotional leverage. The goal isn't closeness, it's conquest. Each encounter reinforces their illusion of superiority. I can make anyone desire me. But control is not intimacy. It's a performance that leaves both people emptier than before. They mistake submission for devotion. When a partner yields, they interpret it as proof of their power, not trust. This distortion poisons their relationships because real intimacy thrives on equality, not hierarchy. Their partners often leave feeling used, not loved. But instead of introspection, the narcissist doubles down, telling themselves the partner couldn't handle their intensity. The fourth lie is that they're amazing lovers. In their minds, they're unmatched, masters of pleasure, always in control, always satisfying. But genuine lovers listen. They adapt, attune, and care about their partner's emotional state. Narcissists rarely do that. Their focus is internal. How do I look? Did they admire me? Am I still in charge? The performance is about ego maintenance, not emotional union. Partners often describe their intimacy as mechanical or hollow. The narcissist's attention fades once the performance ends. There's no tenderness afterward, no emotional check-in, just self-satisfaction. This post-intimacy coldness shocks partners who mistook the intensity for love. It wasn't love, it was self-worship through another person's body. The fifth lie is the most dangerous. They believe they're capable of true sexual intimacy. They tell themselves they feel deeply connected, that passion equals depth, but intimacy requires empathy, vulnerability, and reciprocity. Narcissists can mimic those traits temporarily, yet when genuine closeness appears, they retreat. Vulnerability feels like exposure, and exposure threatens the false self they've built to survive. Instead of surrender, they perform. They create intensity through drama, jealousy, competition, forbidden allure, anything that distracts from emotional nakedness. For them, sex becomes a substitute for intimacy, a way to feel momentarily real without revealing their true selves. But the emptiness always returns. louder and lonelier each time. Deep down, many narcissists feel inadequate. Their sexual bravado masks insecurity. They fear not being enough, fear that if someone saw their flaws, they'd be rejected. So they overcompensate with seduction, manipulation, or exaggerated confidence. It's a shield that looks like power but hides deep shame. Every conquest is proof they still matter, at least for a moment. The irony is that their partners often begin by feeling chosen, cherished, electrified. Narcissists know how to create chemical highs, mirroring fantasies, reading desires, flooding partners with attention. But once admiration fades, the narcissist loses interest. The thrill of being desired matters more than the person doing the desiring. They chase the rush, not the relationship. Sex becomes a performance, not a dialogue. The narcissist rehearses gestures that worked before, treating intimacy like a script. But real connection can't be scripted. It's co-created. Their partners sense the artificiality even if they can't name it. Something feels rehearsed, off, emotionally absent. The narcissist mistakes this unease as boredom and seeks a new audience. Over time, they repeat the cycle. Idealize, conquer, devalue, discard. Each new relationship promises redemption, but every ending leaves them emptier. They can't face the truth that what they crave isn't another body, it's connection. Yet connection requires vulnerability, the one thing they fear most. So they stay trapped, mistaking control for closeness again and again. They also lie to themselves about loyalty. Narcissists claim to value commitment, but they see fidelity as optional when it no longer feeds their ego. If attention dwindles, they seek it elsewhere. Infidelity becomes self-justified. I deserve admiration, they tell themselves, but behind the entitlement lies addiction, the endless need for new supply to drown out old insecurity. The narcissist's relationship with sex is ultimately a mirror. They see only themselves reflected back. Partners become props in a play about conquest and validation. When those props demand real connection, the narcissist panics. The mirror threatens to show cracks, and they flee rather than face the reflection. Their hatred of genuine intimacy is really fear of being known. Many narcissists talk endlessly about their sexual prowess, using it as proof of superiority. But bragging hides fragility. Real confidence doesn't need constant validation. Their exaggerations are protective spells cast against inner emptiness. The louder the boasting, the deeper the void they're trying to silence. They might even romanticize their detachment, claiming they're not the emotional type. In truth, emotional avoidance isn't cool, it's cowardice disguised as sophistication. Avoiding intimacy protects them from pain, but it also denies them love. Their pride costs them connection, and their arrogance keeps them from healing. The partners of narcissists often internalize blame. Maybe I wasn't enough. But the problem isn't you, it's their inability to see sex as mutual. You could offer love, trust, and vulnerability, and they'd still feel unsatisfied, because satisfaction requires emotional presence, and they left that part of themselves behind long ago. Over time, even narcissists sense the hollowness. After the lights dim and the applause fades, they lie awake in quiet rooms, haunted by the very emptiness they deny. They tell themselves stories. They couldn't handle me. I need someone on my level. But those mantras lose power. Deep down, they know the truth. They keep chasing closeness, while running from it at the same time. For those recovering from narcissistic partners, understanding this truth brings healing. Their cruelty wasn't personal, it was projection. They punished you for reminding them of what they lack. Your emotional depth exposed their emptiness, and that terrified them. When you wanted connection, they wanted control. When you gave love, they returned performance. Healing requires rejecting their narrative. You weren't dull, needy, or too emotional. You were simply real in a world where realness was dangerous. Your authenticity revealed their falseness. That's why they withdrew. Not because you lacked worth, but because you carried something they couldn't sustain. Truth. The brutal truth about narcissists and sex is that they crave adoration, but fear intimacy, seek control but destroy connection, chase pleasure but flee vulnerability. Their body becomes a stage, their ego the director. But love cannot survive in a performance. It lives only where authenticity breathes. If you ever loved a narcissist, know this: their detachment wasn't proof you were unlovable. It was proof they were unreachable. True intimacy demands courage, empathy, and presence, the very qualities they buried long ago. You can't fix what someone refuses to face, but you can free yourself from their illusions. Your healing is their nightmare because it means they no longer define your worth. When you reclaim your peace, their performance loses its audience. The mirror they depended on shatters, and for the first time, they must face themselves alone. That is the ultimate exposure, the one they fear more than anything. True power lies not in revenge, but in peace. Walk away from the performance. Let silence speak where words once justified pain. Their lies crumble without your participation, and in that quiet, you rediscover something they never could: authentic connection, born from truth, vulnerability, and genuine self-worth. Because intimacy isn't a game or a conquest. It's a sanctuary for two souls unafraid to be seen. Narcissists can't enter that sanctuary until they remove their masks, and few ever will. But you can. You can build relationships grounded in reality, not illusion, and that's the love story worth living. So let them keep their lies. You'll keep your truth, because while they chase admiration in endless cycles, you've learned the secret they never will. Real intimacy isn't about being desired, it's about being known, and being known, truly known, is something a narcissist may never experience.